Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Welcome in to Neutral Zone. Presented by Fleet Tire there at 111 East Woodland Avenue for all your tire needs. It is Fleet Tire. Man, the Vols basketball team, it was almost like a NASCAR race that, the driver led the entire way, tires worn out. They wore out on the guy who was running away with the race, and 14-point lead, and things just diminished. We've seen this time and time again, and who would have thought we'd be sitting here saying Mark Pope is, I won't say he owns Rick Barnes, but I guess you could kind of say it's right there. I mean, you could argue it either way, but I would definitely lean right now. I mean, I would have never expected a sweep by this Kentucky team, and everything was looking so good until the last 10 minutes of the game. Welcome in, Drew. How you doing, my man?
Well, I'm all right. I mean, here's the truth, Cloney. I was kind of expecting this last night. I was expecting a loss at the end of the day, so it's not like I'm still very redneck angry, Manorville mad, pal pissed off, as Russell Smith would say, of course. But it was just expected. I mean, this is the thing that the team has struggled with all season long, is just being able to hold on to leads and just putting away games. And, even some of the conference games that we've won this year, with whether if it was Georgia or Auburn, this team has just does not have the ability to be able to put games away. And you kind of just thought this was going to happen. I hate to say it, but you got to give Kentucky props and give Mark Pope props. I mean, they made some incredible adjustments on the defensive side of the ball in the second half, and, completely took Ament and Gillespie out of the game. And it's a pretty good recipe for any opposition, where if you're able to take out Gillespie and take out Ament and, limit them to, I think they collectively had 10 points in the second half altogether. You do that, and guess what? You're going to beat Tennessee every single time. And the big thing that Tennessee's kind of struggled with throughout the entire season is that when neither of those guys are able to produce offensively, or they're being contained, there's not a next man up mentality. I mean, I can't tell you how many shots JP Estrella missed last night within 4 feet. And,
bunnies.
And it's just, in the game of college basketball, when you're getting paid close to $1 million, it's just inexcusable. And again, I had this tangent a few weeks ago in the last show that we did, but, obviously Mother Nature's kept us out of here the last couple of weeks. Yeah. But
good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. But man, Jalen Carey, what a useless basketball player. I'm just gonna call it as it is. The guy, I have a higher vertical than he does, which is truly saying something, because I don't think I've done, jumping jacks since high school, right? And this is somebody that's he's not able to contain the basketball. He can't score. He doesn't do a very good job on defending, when it's one-on-one situations, when he's not inside the paint. I'm not really sure what he does, and I don't really understand why Rick Barnes at a one-point situation where you knew Kentucky was going to shoot a three or try to take the lead, why you put him in there as opposed to somebody like Amari Evans. Or, and Ament was on the bench as well. So, or even Dwayne Brown, who had 3 blocks last night and was on a tear in the first half. So, yeah. You can.
And Okpara continues to play more like he's 6'6".
Yeah, exactly.
Than 6'10". I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know what we saw with him there when he was at Ohio State. Yeah, he can jump, but that's it. He gets moved off the block constantly.
He makes Euro Plavsic look an athletic center, and that is truly saying something too. And so for me, it's just we're at the point of the season where I don't want to say I'm checked out of this basketball team, because I think they'll wind up going 23-8 or win 23, 24 games and probably wind up being a 4 or 5 seed. But this team isn't going to be making an Elite Eight. This team is certainly not going to make a Final Four. And the thing that just makes it so damn frustrating, more than anything else, Clone, is that Ament is finally playing with confidence. The game is finally slowing down for him. And he's been putting out phenomenal performance after phenomenal performance over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And there's nobody else stepping up along the way. I mean, and I'm not asking for Estrella or Kerry Okpar to be averaging 15 points and 10 rebounds, but my God, man, just get some consistency here.
Yeah.
I mean, so I hate losing Kentucky basketball more than anything. Not as much as Alabama football, but I mean, it's a close second.
And this isn't the Kentucky that we grew up watching. This isn't. You brought up an interesting stat though. How funny matchups and angles and trends can be, and how quickly I forgot this, but like the Clyde Gillespie record against Bruce Pearl.
Yep.
Who would have ever thought that? He had really, really good, moderate to really good success against Bruce.
Yeah.
When we had it rolling. And then you look at it right now, and I think you could make the argument Barnes has a healthier program than Kentucky's. But when I say healthier, there's not a deep floor. The ceiling's always going to be higher at Kentucky. That's just who it is. If they got the right person, they get the right guy. I'm still just blown away, like how they haven't gotten back to where I don't know. I don't understand. Okay, you could make the argument, and then there was all the talk about, well, they were going to go after the hothead Hurley up at Connecticut. They were going to really, back up the Brinks trucks, whatever. But it's still mind blowing to me that Kentucky is still not in that upper echelon. Arizona got it right and made a hire to get them back into that conversation. Kansas is always going to be Kansas, and they're starting to show with a healthy Darren Peterson, who's arguably is going to be probably the best pro maybe out of that freshman class.
Yeah.
He's looked the real part. I mean, it looks like, and the kid at Houston, and that's another thing with Houston is they bring in 2 or 3 new faces, and man, here they are back dominating. Let me say this too. I don't understand all the hype about BYU. I know they've got a lottery pick and a great talent, but I have watched them. They're so undisciplined. They don't defend the paint very well at all. And I mean, just Houston, just clinic the way they were dominating them at times. I don't get it. Like people saying, "Oh yeah, this is a Final Four type team." I don't see it.
So I mean, for me, like when it comes to BYU, I mean they have a couple stout players for sure. I mean, obviously, I'm probably butchering his name, but Bidonsa, the lottery pick at center. I mean, he's just phenomenal, and they also got a pretty solid guard with Robert Wright the third as well. But I mean, they're kind of a team where I think they kind of remind me of like Tennessee from a few years ago, where the starting five, really, really strong starting five, but they don't necessarily have the depth that you need to be able to make a Final Four, like Houston, for example.
Right.
Houston's just got so much talent across the board. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think they're a solid basketball team. I think they're going to be a 3 seed as well, but I don't really see them making it any further than the Sweet 16.
I don't either.
And I mean,
maybe they'll prove me wrong, but they won't be. I won't pick them going far on my bracket.
Yeah.
And again, I could eat crow there, but I don't see it. I look at the way teams they do not defensive efficiency, offensive efficiency. You go back and look at those Kim Palm rankings, and there's not been a team either get to the final game or win the whole damn thing without being in his top like 20-ish both consistently. And they're not even they're scratching the surface at the last I saw they were like 48th or 50th, somewhere in that ballpark area defensively. So it's seen. I mean, the eye test, you watch them and they're just very undisciplined.
I think there's only 3 teams, in my opinion, where I think one of those 3 will be pretty much a lock in the Final Four. And for me, it's Arizona, Michigan, and Connecticut. You could put Duke in that same conversation too, of Cameron Boozer, of course. And I mean, and they're a very good basketball team. Mm-hmm. But I don't think this is going to be another season where you see 4 1 seeds making the Final Four again. Illinois has a little bit some inconsistencies as far as like their guard play goes. Purdue has struggled in the
and
last
they're
few
probably
weeks.
the hottest. I will say, yeah, Purdue's a real head scratcher. I thought that would be a guaranteed Final Four team, and maybe Painter will get them to, get them right. But they have just not. Yeah, they have not impressed me. Back to Illinois, they're clearly the hottest team. Now I don't recall. Did they hang on and beat Michigan State?
They lost in overtime to
in overtime.
85-82. But again, Michigan State's a great basketball team as well. I hate to admit it, but Clooney, like the Big Ten has like low key been kind of like dominating college sports the last couple of years of football and basketball. Basketball, just looking in at that conference alone. I think they have 6 teams. 5 teams within the top 12.
Right.
Nebraska's a good basketball team. Obviously, Illinois got one of my favorite players, Stojakovic, on there, and he's a fantastic player. Purdue's always been pretty solid, and and even some of the teams that are a little bit unranked, like Iowa's kind of sneaky good. Wisconsin is definitely a bounce back from the last couple seasons, especially. There's a good chance that I could see the Big Ten winding up having 8 or 9 teams in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I agree, and looking at these are updated this morning. According to FanDuel, the national championship winner, Arizona, is in the leader on the leaderboard, plus 420 party time there. Michigan is plus 550. Duke is third, right behind Michigan, plus 650. Houston is starting to creep up there. Their guard play is phenomenal. They lost one of their key big guys last year that could actually score. Those guys still are solid inside. And physically, if the game is officiated the way Kelvin Sampson wants it, that is another team, and they get the right draw, that is another team that could slide back into the Final Four. Now, I don't think they win it this year. But man, I tell you what, that freshman guard who kind of looks a little bit like, the kid that came out of Memphis and then went to the Bulls, the point guard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now, but he looks like a young, you'll think of it before I will, I'm sure. Illinois is 5th in the rank in the odds at plus 1,200. There sits Florida plus 1,400. Connecticut plus 1,700. Iowa State's another team that's pretty solid. Kansas plus 2,000. I would actually say I don't think Kansas is going to win it all, but you never know.
They may have the number 1 pick in the draft though. With Darren Pearson. That kid is just he's unbelievable.
And you know what? There were people I saw people who really watched the NBA at a high volume level and that, scout it and really look at guys and that's why I kept saying, look, be patient with Nate Ament. He's starting to look like a lottery pick because of his potential, because of his ability to take the ball off the dribble, to shoot, to elevate over a guy. Is he got to get, he's got to get more physical, certainly stronger. All that will come. But he is starting to round into that form. But I will say this about Kansas, the fact that they've got an assassin and they've got look, I heard this from one other scout that said, and I read this somewhere, and they said, when he gets back, watch if he gets healthy, which he wasn't early in the year, and he missed a lot of time. Certainly didn't play against us, but he said this guy is the close. He's going to remind you a lot of like Kobe, the way he ends games, the way he's aggressive on ball screens, fighting through them. He said he is the real deal. And if they get anything else from any of their other guys contributing, from their bigs, that is a team. I'm just saying at plus 2,000 would not be a crazy long shot. Now, if you wanted to just say even Final Four, if you go Final Four, you can still get them at plus 420 for a run to the Final Four.
They got 3 guards are combined averaging about 49 points a game with Darren Pearson, Trey White, and and Melvin Council Jr. as well. I mean, like they have they have the core that you need to be able to make a Final Four type of run. And I mean, that's the thing. Like if Darren Peterson played against us back in November, Kansas probably would have beat us by 20. I mean, I mean, they beat us by 10 without him. So but
and that was, I will say, coming off of that big emotional win, very strong performance, draining. I liking the matchup when you play a Houston. I would love to know what the opponents that play Houston, what they do in their next game, because that is such a physical game. For so many years, they always said an automatic bet against fade was both Baltimore and Pittsburgh, the Steelers and Ravens in that matchup, because it was always such just a bruising physical game. You even saw it when the Titans had a physical offensive line and they were going up against those Ray Lewis defenses and Ed Reeds of the world. They said, the following week, the Titans were always a bet against because it just takes a lot out of you. And I wonder how much of that, because, if you'll remember the first half, we were looking all right. And then, Kansas just, man, it was like they had a gear and we missed a lot of short little bunnies.
Well, that's kind of like Ben.
And those are legs and just physically being drained.
Well, that's the other thing too. That's just, and I'm glad we're kind of like circling it back to Tennessee real quick, because that was kind of like the point I wanted to make. That's like the one thing that you've seen consistently all season as far as like our 7 losses that we have, which is when we're not making shots, those shots within 10 feet, like from our bigs, especially making those inside the paint. That kind of leads to Gillespie and Ament, playing a little bit more reckless and feel like that they're having to force the shot themselves, as opposed to letting the game like just flow and let it come to them as well. And so, and this is an important thing. I mean, you got to have bigs that could be able to consistently score like at a high level, and play consistent basketball. And so, we had that. We had that with the Grant and Admiral days. We kind of had that a little bit when John Fulkerson, was here as well. And it's incredibly crucial. I mean, like you can have two guards and you can have a 3-man that could be able to play as a soft 4 that can be able to, stretch out the court a little bit and score in different aspects. But the thing is like you gotta have that 5 that can be able to get those tough, gritty baskets.
Yeah.
And the thing is that to be honest with you, I really don't understand why we played Akpara yesterday, honestly. And the reason why I say that is just because he was still coming off that calf injury, and I understand that he wants to get back out there and play. But sometimes, like in games like this, where like it's a big rivalry road game with I wouldn't say a lot of implications because both teams are going to make the tournament, but seeding definitely plays a role, and like in a game like last night's did, and you want to have like your best guys, your most healthy guys out there. Like Akpara would have been all right sitting out last night and then playing him on Tuesday or Wednesday against Mississippi State. I mean, and that would have been a better game for him to get back into the rotation of things and get, and everything. And so I just don't understand that. And, you got bigs that are starting to play with more confidence.
Like Dwayne Brown.
He's
First
been
half,
playing.
12 boards. 6 offensive rebounds. What do we talk about with getting second chance opportunities? Extra possessions is huge. And I didn't mean to jump on interrupt you on that, but why was he not playing more of those second half minutes? And Estrella missed some easy shots. He did have 8 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds. Let me ask you this: and I know what you're going to answer here. This is an easy, literally the fruit's falling off of the vine. You just got to stick your hand out and catch it. So, if you would have told me that what have been some of our Achilles this year, Gillespie turnovers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In key situations. Down the stretch. Now, he didn't score the basketball in the second half when we needed it. But to your point, if you're distributing the ball, 4 assists, 2 steals, 0 turnovers. If you would have told me he had Gillespie going into this game, 0 turnovers, Ament was going to have 29 and 8 and a steal. And, oh, by the way, on the road at Corrupt Arena that Tennessee was going to have 3 more free throw attempts than them in that place where you never get a whistle. I would have said, sign me up. Give me Tennessee on the money line. I almost played them, and I never bet on my teams. I never bet on the Broncos. I never bet on the Cubs. I never bet on the Vols. I just don't, because I know in my head I jinx them. Yeah. But again, that seems like a slam dunk.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
How often does that happen, and then you don't come out of there with a dub?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Is like we out rebounded them by 16, I think 47-31. I think we had close to 20 offensive rebounds.
46-31. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, 15 more rebounds of them. But like, again, like it doesn't matter.
It makes sense.
It doesn't matter if you get 10 more offensive rebounds than them if you cannot make any of those second shots.
Exactly.
There was one possession, I think it was in the second half, where we had, I think, 4 offensive rebounds on one possession, and we missed 4 shots within 3 feet of the basket. And it's just, you got to have bigs that could be able just to get those, get those points for you. I mean, it's just so detrimental. And so, and it's just, it's incredibly frustrating. And I think the other thing is just, I don't know why Rick Barnes this past offseason didn't try to get himself a 2 guard. I know he tried to get, the Isaiah McKinley guy from UVA and the Rice kid that wound up going to USC as well. Like, I understand that. But, man, like Gillespie's not a 1. And, Gillespie doesn't want to play as a 2 guard. He wants to be the point guard. And so you got to have somebody out there that could be able that's a 3-point specialist. And, like, again, like Mari Abram is just not even anywhere remotely close of an SEC basketball player. And Ethan Berg might be the worst basketball player I've ever seen at Tennessee. He might be the level of Stephen Pearl, which is truly saying something too. The guy is just a walking turtle.
The bottom line is this all comes back to the man over there, the head coach, Rick Barnes. I mean, I've been saying it for years, guys.
Gosh.
I mean, let's get real.
I'm kind of glad he hasn't called on our show yet, to be honest with you.
Okay, let me just say this. I'd love to have a Philly conversation.
I'd put myself on mute.
I want to have Titans-Ville call right before Philly, though. I kind of miss that, though. Hey, clone. How are you and Drew doing, my good Christian friends? Anywho, I would want to get Titans-Bill's take on his what he's, is he looking forward to Bad Bunny halftime show?
Oh, yeah.
And then like greatest female performers over 60, during the halftime show. So, but anyways, Super Bowl 60 coming up later this evening. We are going to break that down. We're going to talk about it. If you'd like to talk about that or UT sports, anything, football, maybe your team, what you'd like to see your NFL team do in the draft. I have some wish list. I hate that my Broncos are not here in the big game, but I will say this. It is very refreshing. It hurt a lot less losing that game, knowing, well, one, that we had a backup, but two, that you realize who the most expensive contract the past 2 years were on this Denver roster?
Who?
Russell Wilson.
Wow.
He's 2 years removed.
Yeah.
And he was the most expensive. So we now have about north of $34 million in cap space. That's before anything is restructured. Now we've kind of got an odd, quirky head coach. I don't want to dive into my team and everything.
He cost you all that game.
Yeah,
he cost you the game.
Yeah, he did hurt us there, but just the whole way he handled the comments about Bo Nix, and I'm thinking, man, if you're saying, hey, Bo may not be your guy after his rookie deal ends, which is 4 years, by the way. You'd have a 5th-year option that you can tag them. But if you're saying that, you're letting the rest of the league know, or you're putting this perception out there that, oh, this is an injury that it's been there, and this might be a chronic something you're always gonna, and that, to me, that's pretty crappy of him, the way he did that. And you could tell Bo Nix was not happy, and reporters in Denver were not real happy with him. So it is what it is. But I'm just happy that moving forward, we're actually going to be able to afford to go get a receiver, and I don't have to look at little Jordan Lil Humphrey, who sounds like a rapper's name. He can't catch a cold in a hailstorm.
You're not wrong.
He and they keep putting him out there. That's Sean Payton's boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But anyways, I go get a receiver. Cortland Sutton's got to get the drops figured out. And but anyways, enough about that. An interesting thing though, and this is no sour grapes, because I'm happy for Vrabel, but I never can root for the Patriots. Some things though that I find interesting is Tom Brady has totally flipped off of the Patriots deal. Oh, and I mean, Dave Portnoy is you want to talk about his panties are so wadded in a just a tight clinch. It is literally rent free in his head. He is just beside himself. And here's the interesting thing. Drake May, I think, look, that is the luxury of having a rookie quarterback who is literally looks like, he's MVP level quarterback in this league.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can name 5 other quarterbacks I'd take over him right now. Just at his young, and he may stink it up today. I believe McDonald will throw some cover 6. I think he'll throw some stuff at him that Buffalo and McDermott did in their second matchup that made him look like a second-year quarterback. He certainly didn't look himself. He hasn't looked himself. Aside from the scrambling yards and rushing and things like that, he's not been the same the last 5-6 weeks. And, oh, by the way, they have, if you look at their schedule, you can't take anything away from them. They have beat the list of quarterbacks that they've beaten this year. It may be the most abysmal. When you go down through there and you look at the quarterbacks, so it'll be interesting to see. Having said all that, I think they still have a really decent shot. I would lean towards Seattle. We are going to break that down extensively, obviously in the second hour, second half of the show here, Neutral Zone, again presented by Fleet Tire, 111 East Woodland Avenue. We'll get our first break here in just a moment, but was there anything else in that Kentucky-Tennessee, that can comeback win by Kentucky, that, we've kind of hit on all the little things. I felt like, again, some mismanagement of minutes and guys that let me mention something else too. And I was thinking the exact same thing when I saw it, and then I saw our very own here, John Reed, mentioned it on X last night, and I couldn't agree with him more. Why in the hell did you take a mint out? And he even kind of looked deflated, what are you taking me out here for this little stretch? And then you bring a guy in who's not even really giving you're losing a ton of offensive ability.
Yeah.
Gillespie has went in. They have totally shut him out. Are you expecting to get it from, Boswell? Are you expecting Estrella to get a big bucket? I didn't understand that a bit. He was your number one offensive threat. And not only that, it was hey, we're going to bring him in for a defensive set. And he wound up being nearly a minute that you didn't have him on the floor, and they got 2 possessions out of it. We got 1. I did not understand that at all. You could even tell by the body language. When I saw him running to the, going to the bench, it was kind of seriously? What? You could just see he was deflated. Yeah. Again, if the kid had been tired, if he had 4 fouls, and you're talking, 6-7 minutes left, and you want him in crunch time, you want him just in case it goes to overtime. I didn't understand that at all. Not a great moment there. Certainly not one of his best for a Hall of Fame level coach like Rick Barnes.
He seems to have this in these type of situations, like time and time again. Like, and don't get me wrong, like I love Rick Barnes. I think Rick Barnes is the greatest coach in Tennessee basketball history, and it's not even really particularly close. But he has this. It's just these in-game situations where, like, consistently, time and time again, he just kind of makes some of these bonehead decisions in crunch time. You know, I don't know if you remember this, but I was listening to Voluntary Reaction last night, and somebody brought this up and totally forgot about it for good reason. But, you know, he's had a history of doing this in the last 10 years. Like, you're talking about when we were 2 seed with Grant and Admiral in the NCAA tournament, coming out of overtime. You know, in that Purdue game, he benched Grant Williams at the start of overtime in that Sweet 16, and then in the second round in overtime.
Yes, and when let me add to that too, because I dropped what I knew, and believe me when I tell you, I got this from someone that is very close over there. When that happened, if you'll remember, when he tried to reinsert him back in the game, and he was not. Admiral or Schofield was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah,
like he clearly. And let me tell you let me give you some points that there were things that led to this. There, if you'll go back, and I hate to keep going back to this, but because everything I've heard is that he has adjusted this a little bit better when it gets into tournament time.
Yeah,
but Lamonte Turner, Admiral Schofield, I know for a fact those two guys had a heated conversation with him. It left the practice floor and even got into, let's just say, the basketball office. It got really heated over the fact that, hey, we're into, winter break. We're getting ready for, finals. Fall semester finals, and you're literally out here grinding us like we're like hamburger meat. You're just grinding, and we have to have a little bit of a social life. And I'm told that it took an assistant coach or two, at least one that I know, and I'll tell you who it was off the air, that basically got in his ear and said, "Look, these guys are roached right now. You're heading to Nashville to play in that tournament." That was when we went down. If you'll remember, we went down and beat the PJ Washington Kentucky team, which was a great game. Yep. We looked fresh. Guess what? We went down there and played on Friday. He did not run us. He did not run these guys in the ground that week, and you saw a difference in what it made.
Yeah.
Spiritually, emotionally, physically, this team looked right. So that, I'm telling you, that's the season where that all happened, and then we got in the tournament, and then, of course, the rest is history. I think when we got in, we did survive that game where he pulled him, but then we get into play Purdue and the white praying mantis, that Klein, whatever his name. I mean, that what is he even doing now?
Yeah, I think he's out of the league.
Yeah, well, I don't. Be, but I have never seen a crazier shot. Like if it works, it works. But that was literally like Robert Parrish shooting a 3 with like a dislocated elbow in your shooting hand. I don't know. Golly bum. But yeah, to your point, there was a lot of backstory to that, but that's why he did not want to go back in the game.
And that's the thing. It's just like he's had a history of doing this. And for me, it's just like, okay, like, he's a phenomenal defensive coach. But truth be told, like I'm starting to see. Yes and
no, but I mean, I don't mean to interrupt again, but where was our defense last night giving up those easy buckets? This and the drive-bys. This does not look like a team. I understand we gave up some defense to bring in a little more offense, but it honestly, it doesn't look like it's really working.
Well, I mean, you have to take in consideration again. It's like you have your two main guards of Meshack and Zakai that basically have been in that rotation for 4 years now. Yeah. Like replacing those guys is just so detrimental. So like you're going to have some type of drawback, in my opinion, at least. And you kind of knew going in that that Gillespie just wasn't. It's just not good at the defensive level as Zakai is, and and you're gaining him more from his offensive side of the ball. I mean, you got to remember, Boswell literally was just breathing on guys and getting fouls called on him. I mean, I've never seen a player that literally consistently gets an elbow to the face almost every single play and still gets the foul calls on him, but as opposed to an offensive foul. So, yeah, they were just gassed. I mean, and they were playing those one-on-one man defense type of situations. Kentucky was, and I think it just wore our guys out because they weren't able to get any type of open space, and they weren't able to play the game that they're typically used to. And I think at the very end, just Kentucky just has, again, it's the same with the Cal Poly teams, just have way too many athletes for us to be able to compete in these type of situations. And despite that they're not a very well coached team, just something about Barnes playing against a team full of athletes just has his number almost every single time. So you just got to hope, they could be able to brush this off and move on to the next one. Luckily, Tennessee's got a pretty favorable set of games here coming up with playing Mississippi State and Starkville. They're under 500. Then they play next Saturday at TBA against LSU, and then against Oklahoma and Knoxville as well. But then, you got a tough road game in Nashville against Vanderbilt, who's been sneaky good this year. And then you close out the end of the season against Vanderbilt too. So, another home game against Alabama as well. So I think they should be able to get to at least 21 or 22 wins. And if they do that, they probably are going to wind up being, a 4 seed, maybe a 5 seed in the tournament. But I don't really expect too much from this team, though, as far as the NCAA tournament goes. If they make it out of the first weekend, I'll be a happy camper. But I think what Danny White's going to have to consider is because I think personally Barnes is going to retire the next couple of years. I don't have anything that kind of defines that or the reasoning for that, but it's just. The man's in his 70s. You can tell he's slowly, the game is slowly starting to get ahead of him. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure he wants to probably leave at a high note and not try to, tarnish his legacy that he has here. But Danny's going to have to find, if Danny's still here, of course, but Danny's going to have to find a head coach that is a little bit more offensive oriented.
Buckyball.
I hope it's not Buckyball. You don't have to go from one extreme to the other. You got to get somebody that's kind of like a Todd Golden-esque, type of coach. I don't want Buckyball. I don't want his brother. Can you imagine the outrage if he hired his brother over here? He wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But
oh my god!
But you gotta find somebody that's able to recruit at a high level, keep that consistency,
and raise the tickets 4%.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you got to find somebody that has that ability like Golden or Nate right. Oates, where you emphasize on offense, you have a good enough defense where it could be able to keep your opponents under 80 points. But the thing is, just this big, huge emphasis on defensive basketball is never going to win you a championship or make you a Final Four anymore.
No, it won't. It's not. If you look at it, how many teams that are just dominant, all their cap money is on the defensive side in the NFL or in college football. It's again, at the end of the day, you got to have the rock star quarterback. You got to have guards. You got to have guys that can at least, again, go back and look at any of the teams that have won the Natty in college hoops. You've had at least one, if not two, first-round caliber NBA talents on your roster. It just it is what it is. You could make the argument Houston last year, but that was kind of the exception.
Yeah, they had a great offense as well, though.
Yeah, they did.
So.
Yeah, they had guards, and that was unlike any team he had. They were always going to be in it. They were going to fight tooth and nail. They were going to out-scrap you, take you into literally drag you into the abyss and you just literally drown you. That's what they do, Kelvin Sampson teams.
Yeah.
Anyways, we need to get a break and we'll return here and break down more on college hoops. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to talk anything's on your mind. NFL, UT football recruiting, anything that you'd like to discuss, we're open to it. 865-966-3435. You are listening to the Neutral Zone, presented by Fleet Tire. Come on back. More on Fan Run Radio.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess, but isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah, they specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
Welcome back to Super Bowl Sunday edition of Neutral Zone, right here on Fan Run Radio, presented by Fleet Tire, 111 East Woodland Avenue. Drew, I know we're going to dive in the second hour exclusively Super Bowl 60 talk, but what is the go-to, the one thing you're going to consume later? And I'm not talking, Coors Lights. I'm not talking about liquid. I'm talking about that go-to dip, that go-to, maybe it's, you got to have a certain pizza. Maybe you got to have a whatever, sliders, whatever it is. What's your go-to?
I mean, if we're gonna go as far as dip goes, I mean, you can't go wrong with the buffalo chicken dip. That is about as football food as it gets, in my opinion.
Yes.
But man, typically Super Bowl Sunday, I kind of like, maybe get some chicken wings, get like a meat lovers type of pizza. Obviously at a local place, not like Pizza Hut or anything like that trash, but like, like some like local, like own, like, type place. But yeah, I mean, pizza, wings, buffalo chicken dip, obviously a few Busch lattes, to water it down with. So that's typically my Super Bowl meal go-to, at least.
Yeah, man. Whew. I do love I love all of those that you just mentioned. I like I'll tell you, I had some really good pizza the other day. Non-gratuitous plug here for them, but just a quick little plug. But Lidio's pizza. Oh my God,
it's good.
It is so good, and you got to eat it there. It comes right out, and it's like your boy Dave. All right, everyone knows the rules. Undercarriage, it's strong here. We're at Frankie. Where are we at? Lidio's. All right, great undercarriage. Everyone knows the rules. One bite. It is so good. I had it the other day, and it was like, oh my God! I wish there was one out west where I could just pick it up and eat it. But when you pick pizza up, it's a little different unless you can, unless you've got one of those types of coal ovens or something, brick oven. You can just kind of reheat it a little bit. But crust and a good sauce is all day. I'll take it, and that's why I'll even just do a cheese. But I love all the meats and stuff on it as well.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, if I'm ever in the Powell area, definitely Lidio's for sure. But like we have like South Coast Pizza just literally right next door to the place in South Knoxville. So typically go there, go across the street, get a couple beers at Alliance as well.
There you go. You might run into the mayor of Sono, Philly out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about the Frick Barnes recruiting debacle. I mean.
Well, speaking of Titans, Bill, the one thing that we kind of, that we forgot to talk about is Titans' new head coach, Robert Saleh. I'm curious on your thoughts about it, Colin, but man, the more I look at this, this coaching staff that he has with, DeBall being in there, I believe Gus Bradley is the DC as well, even though Saleh himself kind of indicated that he's going to be calling the plays. Man, I mean, this is pretty good staff, all things considered, And the Titans have the highest salary cap, so they can be able to spend a lot of money on some much needed, in the free agency. They could, the more I was thinking about this, as soon as they fired, Callahan, both, Brian and Bill, like the offensive line play was a lot better, a little bit more simplified. They did a better job on covering, helping out Cam throughout the last, half of the season. And I think the offensive line is going to continue to get better too. But man, if they could add a couple wideouts, and get Reuben Bain over there in the NFL draft, you get him on the defensive line, and maybe get yourself a guy in the secondary. Like the Titans have like a shot where they could low key kind of cook next year. They could be could be a sneaky team that can, for that division.
You know what? Listen, how quickly with a quarterback that most would say, okay, you've got your guy, and I think there's more there. I think the Dayball will cut out some of the little mistakes, taking risks, taking chance. But a lot of people forget how good he was for Josh Allen early in his career.
Yeah, and
the thing is, you're now going to have 3 years. You've got $100 million in cap space, nearly somewhere around that neighborhood. Yep. And oh, by the way, his rookie deal's for, 3 more years. You've got 3 years with an amazing, and I'm not ready to say Saleh is an amazing, head coach, but he has surrounded himself. This is not just, hey, I'm going to bring a buddy here, a buddy there. An old wedding, best man in my wedding. This is not anything like what we've seen on a local level.
Yeah.
But I mean, hell, he may even bring Beach Nut. Might bring your boy. I saw where your boy Gump that was over here.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. He's actually I saw where he's
heading to Maryland.
Or somewhere. Yeah. But okay, we're excited. All right, I've been on the poker tour. Okay, circuit. All right, but no. Look, what the Titans are. I'm not ready to say, hey, this is going to be a Patriots level second year turnaround, but they have a very realistic shot. There's a lot of holes on that roster, and the Patriots made some key moves that went in their favor. Obviously, Stephon Diggs. Most people don't realize Stephon Diggs was nearly a Denver Bronco.
Mm-hmm.
That was really close from happening, and that was huge for him. The addition of guys like they drafted, like Butte, who is an explosive. Re-signing Hunter Henry. They did some things that they really needed to. Matt Collins was a nice addition. He's not going to go out there and catch you 60 yards, 70 yards every week and a score, but he's a tough SOB. He is a guy that will get out and he run blocks. He's kind of a dream third wide receiver for any offense. So, but anyways, I think your Titans have a very realistic shot at, when the odds pop, come out, the fact that the schedule will set up really nice for them this year. Anytime you're a bottom tier team, you're going to get a more favorable schedule. So there's a decent chance. There's not even out of the possibility that you split with a team like Houston that you would have never thought would have been possible. Because guess what? I don't think their quarterback. I think he's regressed, and I think their offensive line. Regressed. I think their offensive line's horrible. Now Jacksonville, listen, they sort of disappointed, obviously, in the playoffs, but that is a team that is on the rise, and their defense is very underrated. A lot of people don't realize how young that defense is, and those guys are under contract. So Jacksonville's going to be a problem for a while. I think the Colts are just kind of like
Colts are starting to dwindle down a little bit. I mean,
and how much longer, how many miles are left on Jonathan Taylor's legs?
And that's the
maybe one more year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you see time and time again, guys that kind of take the league by storm in the running back position typically have a shelf life of about 3 or 4 years before they really start dwindling down. Obviously, the exception is Derrick Henry, of course, but not everybody's Derrick Henry either. So I mean, I think they're going to be starting trending down too. And the thing is the Titans have a pretty solid, in my opinion, defensive line, front seven, linebacker play is okay. It's decent enough. You got Jeffrey Simmons, who's going to be staying there for quite a while. You really just need an edge, right?
Yeah.
I think Gunnar Helm is going to improve in the tight end position, and you really need a couple decent wideouts. But the thing is when you look at some of the wideouts that are going to be available, like an Alec Pierce, Jawan Jennings. Jawan Jennings might be able. I mean,
it'd be a hell of a get.
I think there's a lot.
You want to talk about some toughness? You've got young pass catchers, and he would be that. And he would be he's so underrated.
I think he would be a perfect fit for the Titans. I mean, I don't know necessarily if Jawan Jennings is a wide receiver type of 1-esque type of guy, but as a wide receiver too, though, and having him being able to work on some of those short, medium routes, he's about as good as you can really get in this league. And the other name that I kind of saw as well that would be a sneaky good pickup for the Titans, in my opinion, because I think they're going to go after a running back with Tony Pollard also entering the free agency. Breece Hall. I think Breece Hall.
Yeah, he'd be fantastic.
The Titans have a little bit more of a favorable offensive line than I suppose the Jets have had over the last several years. And he's all right as far as the pass game goes. He's a decent option in that regard as well. they have a lot of moving. There's a lot of pieces that they could be able to fill in those gaps. That would be good enough. They're not going to be making a Super Bowl next year, but they should be a 500 team. I think.
Listen, when those odds come out, I wouldn't argue with anyone. We have seen when you've got a good young quarterback, and again, you have the ability to go out and get players and get impact. Jeffrey Simmons is like so motivated, and he's like, look, they've asked him. He said, at least on a couple of, podcasts, very popular. I know he was on with the Bussing with the Boys, and he was even like, look, I mean, bring me Reuben Bain. That's who I want. And, even if you go get the cat from Texas Tech, that's another guy. Let me give you the guy. Now, I'm saying this, we're talking about your Titans, but if we're talking about my Broncos, really either way, you know who the one underrated running back that he's not going to get all the, the pub, he's not going to get the kind of money that a Breece Hall would. But I'm going to tell you, the guy, I really, really hope, because I know we're probably not re-signing J.K. Dobbins. That it's just, there's too much risk there. But the Algier guy, backup, he's a free agent in Atlanta.
Yeah,
dude,
he's good.
He's 25. He'll be 26 next year, and that is low miles. That's low. I'm not saying he is an every down back. He's not a 25, 30. But I'm telling you right now, he would bring a toughness. He would be a guy, if you bring a Jawan Jennings and you put that Algier back there, that is a guy that gets you look at the data with yards after contact. That guy gets 3-4 yards when even there's not much there.
Yeah. And
you move the sticks, you move the I would love to put him in the backfield with RJ Harvey and Bo Nix.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, though, that's one of the wish lists I want. Do we need a wide receiver? Yes. If we go get a wide receiver and it's not going to be George Pickens. He just got tagged.
Yeah.
So he's off the market. But again, a Jawan, and again, I think a Jawan Jennings is a better fit for Nashville than he is for Denver. And I'd take him in a heartbeat. I love his game. But again, to me, I think if I'm the Broncos, I go, okay, even if you go and get a solid, not take a top off the defense, but just get a solid wide receiver to take a little bit off there. Go draft the tight end from Oregon.
Yep.
And then go bring me Tyler. I couldn't think of his name there for a second. Tyler Algier.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, if Tyler Algier with that Titans, if you bring him in and he's getting 15, 17 touches, he's very underrated even in the passing game. He'll catch a pass or two.
He might be.
He would be solid for you guys.
I think he'd be solid, and you also have to remember too, Etienne is also going to be, a free agent as well. And so Algier,
do you think he gets? I mean, how do they let him out of Duval? Well, they do have Boutin.
They got
yeah. So that is another option. I forgot about that.
But Algier will probably ironically be the much more affordable option.
Yeah,
and that will allow the Titans to be able to get some reinforcements and the defensive backs. Being able to add a couple wideouts, because I think they're going to add at least one or two wideouts, and and Chig is not going to be over there. They're not going to re-sign him, so they'll probably wind up getting another tight end. And Isaiah Likely's also there too. But the one thing I kind of read that was a little bit interesting is that Saleh mentioned that he's going to be calling defensive plays at all times, and he's going to allow the ball as well to be able to run everything on the offensive side of the ball. So
Saleh called the defensive plays, and Dayball will be running. To me, that is a guy that, sure, it did not work. Nothing works in New Jersey with the Jets. But this is different. This has a different feel for Robert Saleh. If he will let and allow that control, and honestly, I don't know how. I think he had to have made that strong commitment to even get a Dayball Dable or however you want to pronounce it, Brian Dable,
Yeah.
to get him to come, because that guy, listen, there may not be coordinators. The only other guy that I would have loved to have seen, and I think he's the next rock star, his name escapes me, I'll look it up, but I've been told by somebody who has coached with him on that Rams staff, that young offensive coordinator for the LA Rams is a rock star. I can tell you 2 Steeler fans that wanted him there and not the retread. I mean, that McCarthy is such a gosh. How does that guy keep getting jobs? Anyways, more Neutral Zone coming up. We got to get a top of the hour break. We appreciate Fleet Tire for sponsoring Neutral Zone as always. More right after these messages. You're listening to Fan Run Radio.
Are you ready to show off that confident, radiant smile you've always dreamed of? Well, here at Knoxville Smiles, we're ready to turn your dream into a reality. At Knoxville Smiles, we're more than just a dental practice. We're your partners in achieving optimum oral health. From routine cleanings and checkups to advanced cosmetics and restorative procedures, we offer a wide range of services in an environment that makes every visit a positive and comfortable experience. At Knoxville Smiles, it's about more than just treatments. We're focused on creating a welcoming environment where you feel like family. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed with your comfort in mind, and our friendly staff is always ready to address your questions and concerns. Don't wait any longer to achieve a beautiful smile you deserve. Schedule your appointment at Knoxville Smiles today and take that first step towards a healthier, happier you. Call us at 865-539-1776 to book your appointment today, or just visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com. Smoky Mountain Brewery is the place to be for game day. From the moment you walk in, it's wall-to-wall big screens, making Smoky Mountain Brewery the perfect place to watch the Vols or your favorite team in action. With locations in Turkey Creek, Maryville, Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg, you're never far away from a great time at Smoky Mountain Brewery. Try one of their world-famous microbrews like Black Bear Ale, Mountain Light, or Cherokee Ale. Juicy burgers, wings that bring the heat, and delicious handmade pizzas made with hand-tossed crust from the freshest ingredients and their own special sauce from a secret recipe, topped off with hand-grated cheese and farm-fresh toppings. And don't forget, those famous microbrews are also available in kegs for your next party or in 6-packs and growlers to go. So grab your crew and head to Smoky Mountain Brewery and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you. Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Your tax refund belongs to you, not an identity thief. Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft last year. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. They monitor and alert you to identity threats you'd miss on your own, even if you're careful with your personal information. And if you do become a victim of tax-related identity fraud, LifeLock has U.S.-based restoration specialists ready to help solve your identity theft issue. Plus, all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Let LifeLock help protect your financial info, so all you have to worry about is what you do with your tax refund. Go to LifeLock.com, save up to 25% off your first year. The promo code is HERD, promo code HERD, to save up to 25% off your first year. LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
All right, welcome back into the Fan Run Radio studios. You're entered the Neutral Zone second hour here, presented by Fleet Tire, 111 East Woodland Avenue, for all your tire needs. Drew, 6:30 tonight. It is on out in Santa Clara. I'm guessing we'll have Collingsworth on the call. So
Yeah.
how many times will Patrick Mahomes? So I mean he'll definitely be clamoring for Drake May, but it won't be on the level if Patty Mahomes was there playing in the big game. Again, the current odds are basically 4.5, I believe, pretty much across the board. Minus 245 on that money line. 45.5 is a slight juice to the under, minus 115. I've seen a lot of people on the under 45.5. I have some plays that I really, really like and some angles that I would like to dive into. I think a lot of people pretty much week in, week out, it's just kind of an auto bet. They'll want to bet, JSN, Jackson Smith, Najigma, anytime touchdown. I'm going to stay away from that just for the price. I think they're going to now look. I think a lot of people think Christian Gonzalez is just going to shadow him, and you cannot just shadow him because they're going to move him around so much. They're going to put him in the slot. Here's an advantage, an angle. Running backs, Seattle was bottom 3 in the league in giving up receptions and receiving yards to opposing running backs. So there is an angle there. I've got it on one of my slips for Ramondre Stevenson to have 3 receptions. It's juiced up now. You could ladder that up to 4. I tell you, the sneaky one there is, and I think he's kind of the wild card because you're going to need big plays. But the rookie, Travion Henderson, his yardage is only like 7.5 yards, I think, receiving when I saw that this morning. So he can pop that in 1 reception. And there's some angles there that I like. More specifically on DraftKings, I've yet to see this on any other book, but on DraftKings, and here's the angle I would approach. Rather than so DraftKings has Jason Myers, the kicker for Seattle, to make 2 field goals is really juiced. It opened at like minus 175. Guess now it's up over 200. It's minus 210. That's what I saw this morning. Here's an angle that I like instead. I was going down through. If you go to the special teams tab on DraftKings, you go all the way down. You're going to see at the very top, you're going to see field goals made by both kickers, Myers, and then, of course, New England's kicker. But then it's also going to have, like, longest field goal that each one would make. Go to the very bottom to where it has total field goal yards made. I really like that. Rather than going after the 2, if they're juicing, think about this. If they're juicing 2 made field goals for Jason Myers, and it has ballooned up to over 2. It's really like minus 210 when I saw it. Guess what? The over 66.5 kicking yards. Total field goal yards made by Jason Myers, 66.5 is what it was this morning. Now, that's what I took it at. And it's only like minus 115. Has it moved? I don't know if you're looking at it right now.
I haven't seen it. One of the other special team props that has kind of caught my eye, to make a 50-plus yard field goal, to have Jason Myers at plus 200.
To make a 50-yard field goal?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
plus 200. I mean, call me crazy.
Yeah.
That's like free money. It's just
it very well could be.
You know, and obviously 55 plus yard is plus 550. And then everything after that is like well over 1,000, plus 1,000. But the other prop that they have too is just longest field goal made. Seahawks are at minus 120, Pats at plus 115. And the other one too,
DraftKings has that, by the way. I'm looking at that, and DraftKings had it at like minus 140.
This is the other one that's really kind of surprising as well. And it says, will both teams make a 33-yard or longer field goal? And for the yes, it's only minus 130. So, I mean, I don't know if it's one of those situations where they just kind of expect, like maybe they're just not expecting a lot of field goals altogether, because they have for the kicking points over under for Jason Myers at 8.5, and Andreas Borregales is at over 6.5 as well. And so, but I mean, if you want to get into like some of those crazy ones, I mean, I'd throw like $5 at a 50+ yard field goal for Jason Myers, and I would probably honestly throw about $10 or $15 for both teams making a 33-yarder or longer at minus 130.
I like it. I do. And again, for me, anytime touchdown. Now, Jackson Smith-Njigba is minus 105. I think they're going to move him around a lot. But again, I believe the Patriots, they're very smart defensively. I believe they will try and roll extra coverage over on him. So to me, the guys that you need to be targeting, because Rashid Shaheed just does not get much volume.
Yeah.
He can catch one and go over the top. He can go over the top for 60 yards, like just blink of an eye. But to me, it's Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, I like his yardage over. I like his chance for a touchdown, plus 270 on FanDuel.
Yep.
The other one is where was he at? AJ Barner, plus 250. So you've got two guys right there. I mean, you could see both tight ends in this game, Hunter Henry and AJ Barner or Hunter Henry, both sitting respectively at plus 230, plus 250. Now, if you think both of them are going to score, that's all of a sudden that's plus 230 and plus 250, all of a sudden, you're sitting there with plus 949 odds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty good $10 returns $94.90. So that's not an official play for me. But I will say I do have Kupp yardage and Kupp anytime touchdown. The other angle you can use is a either or touchdown, which I used on the DraftKings. And I use Cooper Kupp or Kenneth Walker anytime touchdown with Cooper Kupp's yardage to get 25 plus yards. And it's literally right there. It's just barely, it's not quite plus money, but it's like minus 120, minus 122, something like that. I'd have to go back and look. But MVP in the game, it's a quarterback deal there where one of the two, Sam Darnold, is the favorite at plus 115. Drake May plus 230. Obviously, if either team wins and there's not just some crazy say Rashid. And now I will say it would not be I wouldn't fault anyone for taking a Rashid Shaheed if he catches a long touchdown and runs a kickoff or a punt. I mean, he's plus 4,500. Drew.
Yeah, that's tempting.
Yeah, I mean,
tempting.
Again, a lot would have to happen.
How would you feel? There's another play that you could do, anytime touchdown in the first quarter. Kenneth Walker's at plus 350. But, there's something that tells me that I could see a goal line situation for the Pats where within 3 or 4 yards, maybe doing a QB draw and Drake May running in one. And he's at plus 1,400 for a touchdown.
He is very elusive. Though I don't like his rushing yards for him to go over.
Agree.
Because that defense is their linebackers can run. I think they're going to say, hey, you know what? We are going to, and listen, this is the least blitzing team in all of football. Seattle does not have to blitz.
No.
So I think they're going to sit back. I think that's why I'm more leaning towards running back receptions in this game. I don't think like Stephon Diggs is going to have like 7 catches, and I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be spread out a little bit. Like I think that Mario Douglas could have a catch for like 20 yards. I think you could see Matt Collins 2 catches for like 21 yards. I mean, I believe they'll have to spread it out, and but specifically the running backs. Now those are angles that I do like. I've seen a lot of people on, and Sam Darnold has played much different. Let me tell you why I think Sam Darnold is playing. My opinion, why he's played much better and less, mistake-free football. Now he could still throw a pick today. I mean, anything could happen. A tipped, deflected pass, a tip ball, or he could just, have a bad read and throw into coverage. But because that, and I expect the game plan today from Seattle. I mean, again, you're talking about the next coach of the Raiders in Kubiak. I think all likelihood, but I think he has been genius with him. And you notice what they're doing more with him is the Patriots are hard to run on. There's a reason why a lot of people, the number rushing yards for Kenneth Walker, the third, has come down. So a lot of times it gets bet up. People typically bet overs in this industry. And so I think with it being, the fact that his rushing yards have come down like 2 or 3 yards since it opened, that speaks volumes on the respect that New England is getting in their run defense department. So I feel like with that, the other angle that I think could really benefit is, again, running backs, receptions. I feel like that's sneaky. That is very sneaky with Drake May, because if they get down there, look, everyone just assumes, hey, we're handing it off to Ramondre Stevenson, and I fully expect him to get the short goal line. I think he's more, they trust him more than a rookie. Yeah. Though Henderson's got crazy speed and game separating type speed, and he can make an impact, a couple of screens, and man, he could get 40, 50 yards and even house one. But I really believe, like back to that Drake May thing, that has some real potential. Sure, a lot would have to happen. I know McDonald's going to, and listen, I think McDonald will play a lot of, I think he's going to confuse May, throw some things at him that he's not seen. He's one of the best defensive minds in all of football. Oh, yeah. And I know a lot of Ravens fans that wish that, they would have been able to bring him there, or even, had Harbaugh step aside. Although I don't know that Harbaugh's the problem. I think it's number 8 under center. I think there's a lot of cancer there in that locker room caused by him. But anyways, so another angle, and this is under specials, like on prop bets, and I have not seen this, but I have heard numerous people say it, that they've actually placed the odds makers, the books, have put, Drew, a bet for you to right at your fingertips to go back 11 years. And again, just that crazy play call when they had, again, like you said, you have a timeout in your pocket. You're on the 1.5 yard line, and you have 2 times with a wrecking ball for a running back who most think that, no chance. Very slim chance he doesn't get in there. Yeah. But again, I go back and I say the perfect play call would have been play action on that second down. Play action. You have 2, possibly 3 plays, cracks at it. But on second down, why not play action to him and let Russell Wilson bootleg around the end?
Darnold.
No. I'm talking about Russell Wilson in that Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, back to that.
Yeah.
Now, all right, that was my segue into the bet for today. The bet today, you knew it would be placed. Somebody's going to place it. Will in the scenario that the Seahawks have the ball on the 1 yard line, will they throw from the 1 yard line? That bet, it's juiced up to know, like earlier, I think it was around even money when it opened. I don't know if you see it there.
I don't see it, but there is something that kind of along those lines, though, where it's total interceptions thrown on play starting in the red zone, and it's plus 330 for over 0.5. I don't know if there's a situation, though, like, this just seems like, I don't see the Seahawks being that aggressive throwing within the red zone, and those with the running back and the running game that they have with, like, Kenneth Walker. I just don't really see them throwing, especially within 5 yards, maybe within, 15 yards out for sure. But I don't know. You got to think that has come into mind several times this week. Like, all right, if we're in a goal line situation at the 1 yard line, surely we're just going to run the ball with Kenneth Walker.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been dominant all year, so especially in red zone situations.
Yeah. And I think both offense. Listen, I think there's two very solid offensive coordinators here, and again, I so much that obviously Brady and John Spytek, that's their guy is Kubiak. Mm-hmm. They want him. They want to go get Mendoza in the draft, unless they're going to trade out of that and get several picks. Who knows? But but to me, that's the plan there. With a Trey Tucker, he's not a true number one, but he's still a pretty decent, very underrated wide receiver. They obviously traded Jacoby Myers earlier in the year, but they freed up some cap space too. They're going to have a lot more after they trade. Apparently, all indications are that Max Crosby will be on a different team. So what are you going to get back for him? We could see a totally different, like a roster, like flip that roster makeover. Now, it's still the Raiders. Will they get it right? I don't know. But my point being, Kubiak is one of the sharpest minds in football offensively, and he may be able to go there. I don't know that they will have the resources to be able to go and do what the Bears did in Ben Johnson. I called it before the season started. I said, look, now I didn't know they were going to go this far in the playoffs, but I said this team is going to be one of the most improved teams. Watch out for him for like coach of the year. I don't understand how he didn't get more votes.
Yeah.
Like that's just. How about the guy that voted for MVP and voted for Justin Herbert? Now, his stance makes a little bit of sense because Justin Herbert dealt with just a horrendous offensive line all year, and he still got that team, playoff caliber team. Having said that, I don't know, man. I mean,
it's hard for me.
It's hard not to give it to a guy, but also you got to look at it from a standpoint. I mean, the Rams offensively, they're one of the more well-oiled machines, especially when Devontae Adams was healthy. Mm-hmm. That team, you have a stud running back and a backup that would start for a lot of teams in Blake Corum, and you had emerging talents at tight end. You've got arguably the best wide receiver right now in Puka Nacua. And I'd still probably take a Jamar Chase over him just for his explosive ability. But Puka brings that element where he can run, end arounds, and he's just a tough-nosed guy. We'll see how good he is after going into 2027 without I'm assuming that one more year with Stafford and that's it. He's calling it quits.
I mean, it was well deserved with Matthew Stafford. I've said it before on the show, I think he has been the most underrated quarterback in the NFL the last 25 years. I mean, just the consistency that he's been able to play.
Well, he played for a dud for so long and no offensive line.
Well, that's the thing. It's and still playing at such a unbelievably high level. And I mean, you're talking about 38 years old. This man threw 4,700 yards and 46 touchdowns in a season. It's just there's not a lot of guys that can be able to do that. And and they have a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, as you mentioned, with Blake Corum and Puka, of course. But I kind of get. I mean, I get the feeling that like once he retires after next season, that there's going to be a bit of a drop off. I don't think it's going to be like super drastic,
Right.
Kind of like how like it was a little bit like when Peyton left Denver, with Osweiler over there and everything. I don't think it's going to be that drastic of a drop off, but I mean, you're talking about this is a guy that's been playing at such an unbelievably high rate, for 15 years in the league, and kind of took that, that Rams organization where they were kind of like middle of the road. They were flirting with relevancy and then, automatically go ahead and win them a Super Bowl, take them back to the NFC Championship, for 2 years in a row now, as well. And so, it'll be interesting to see how the Rams kind of play that. I mean, and I think the big question is like, we'll get to see actually how great of a coach that, Sean McVay is without a Hall of Fame quarterback as well, So, but yeah, it was well deserved from Matt Stafford. And my whole entire argument for like NFL MVP too is just like you have to have the qualification for me is like you got to win at least a playoff game. Like,
yeah,
that's why it'd be hard for me to give it to Herbert. I think Herbert is also an extremely underrated quarterback at a deadbeat franchise where he's never going to be able to win anything big at the Chargers. Man, you can't just give it to the guy where, like, okay, he took him to the playoffs and then, they lost in the first, like, what was it, the wild card round that they lost to?
Yeah.
And, and that's it. Like, there has to be some sort of, like, guideline. But, yeah, I mean, between Stafford and Drake May, I'd give it to Stafford. And, I mean, I mean, for me, I would throw, you throw Bo Nix in there as well, in my opinion. He may not have the flashy numbers, but you could tell drastically on how valuable he is for the Broncos, because let's be real, if he plays that game against New England, I think it's Denver-Seattle tonight.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, now, I don't want to dwell on it, but I go back to, yes, the Sean Payton play call, 10-point lead would have been better, but with what weather was coming. Now, I know you can't predict the snow was going to be coming sideways at 35, 40 mile an hour winds. They knew there were forecast some inclement weather coming in the second half portion of that game. Okay. But to me, when we missed, when he threw the Broncos set up that screen to our most explosive wide receiver who balled out the entire playoffs. When he threw that thing well in front of him, bro, he goes untouched. Like, I don't even – when they showed the aerial, like, above the overhead, literally it was like, and Romo was like, oh, Jim, he would have housed that for sure. I mean, seriously, though, that was like – oh my God, just a routine. Get it? And now he did, he got it. He got ahead of himself, tried to throw it too quick, didn't plant.
Yeah.
Cold. I understand that. Different elements. Yeah. But Stidham, if he just hits that, there's a lineman. It was a tight end, a lineman running out there. And literally it looked like the one guy, the corner, was sealed. And unless just a random, stupid penalty, that thing's getting housed and it's 14-0 right there. And we're not even talking about Sean Payton's decision of a field goal.
Yeah.
But then you have the Stidham, which, look, was that to me, it looked more forward than anything. But still, I mean, it was like, God, is that all we're getting on the ball there? I mean, it was like, so truthfully, they could have. But the way I look at it again, Denver got a close, though I thought they got it right with that interception against Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the guy, I don't think Buffalo, I don't think he clearly had possession of it. It was bobbling and moving, and he grabs it away from him. So, again, with all that, some close here, there, that's not what cost Denver. Again, take the points when you can, Sean Payton, 10-0. And that catch, if that ball's put out there, hell, even if it's behind him or high and he just catches it, it's going for maybe 30, 40 yards, and you're flipping the field there. Instead, you drop that. Then the next play, we run a draw, doesn't get anything, and we're punting back to them when we could have totally flipped the field. But it is what it is. New England was. You can say what you want. New England was maybe they're just better. With Bo Nix, it's a different game, certainly. But
I think like it's just a different game plan, and his ability to be able to run with the football and being able to get some of those good chunk plays with his legs would have just changed the game plan and would have probably suited it like with the conditions that they were dealt with that afternoon. Probably would have been more suited for Bo Nix altogether. But again, it's like you got like what a second year quarterback. Pretty much took you to the AFC Championship game. The future for Denver is extremely, extremely high, and maybe they could be able to draft themselves a pretty solid wideout, or be able to get somebody within free agency. But they're only trending upwards, and they got a lot less questions to ask about themselves as far as like the future goes, than as opposed of like their rivals Kansas City, where they're at a crossroads. I feel like, in my opinion, the Chiefs are more than anything else.
Yeah, no, they are. I do say one thing before I forget. You brought it up, and the more and more I see this, it may be just a side bet that I do by itself.
Mm-hmm.
But Seahawks' longest field goal between the two kickers. Jason Myers has had one of the best seasons, obviously, of any kicker. He's tried 12 field goals of 50-plus yards this year and made 9 of them. And I think with is it Borgalis, the kicker? Okay, yeah. I was afraid I'd butcher that. Being a rookie, it's a big moment, big game. Now, we've seen kickers grow up in Super Bowls and playoffs, for the Patriots. So I'm not putting anything past anyone. But I got to ask you too, how about Nicki Minaj breaking it down on the dance floor with Robert Kraft? I thought Stephon Diggs was not real happy.
Yeah. You mean Cardi B?
Yeah, Cardi B. Yeah, I'm sorry, Cardi B.
I was about to say Nicki Minaj is a whole other conversation.
Sorry. Yeah, Cardi B.
Yeah. It's just the best thing that you could say is just, we're living in crazy times, Clone. That's probably just the best way to describe it. Nothing surprises me at this point anymore. So seeing Cardi B breaking it down with Robert Kraft, who has, a not so good history of himself over the last several years, is not surprising in the slightest whatsoever.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction a year out. I'm not going to make a prediction in who's going to be there. Well, we could in next year's Super Bowl. So Super Bowl 61 next year. So this is a interesting little nugget. So since the second Sunday in February of 2027, which would be, this upcoming 26-27 season, it falls later on the calendar next year. It'll be played on Valentine's Day.
Oh, interesting.
The following day, February 15th, is President's Day, which is a federal holiday.
Yeah.
Well, I don't get federal holidays. When you're working in my line of work, it just, you're working. We get maybe 2 days off, 3 days off a year.
Mm-hmm.
But that will be party. That'll be.
Where's it at? The Super Bowl next year?
I don't know. I need to look that up. But just think of what alcohol sales will be.
Oh yeah.
It's already like food and alcohol sales and things like that. It's the number one day on
LA.
the calendar.
It's in LA.
Yeah. Wow. 2 straight years.
2 last 5 years?
California getting two straight.
I thought
so they're going to play
Vegas,
they're going to play in the place that Gruden can't stand. He can't stand that SoFi. I don't like SoFi, man.
So you were talking about kicker props and things like this. This is a good one that I'd like to point out for our listeners as well on DraftKings. I threw about $3 on this one. Nothing crazy, but any field goal or extra point attempt to hit a goalpost, a doink, plus 600.
Listen, those chips in the ball too.
I'm telling you, we've seen we've seen more doinks in this playoffs. I feel like than we have.
Here's why I will not play that. Let me just tell you, and I'm a conspiracy theorist with this. Listen, ever since you've you dive into this and you look at this and these chips that are in the ball. And keep in mind the balls they kick with are totally different than the balls that are played with in the actual every possession down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's widely known. Secondly, let's just say hypothetically the books say take on a ton of bets for that to hit. Who's not going to want to play that for plus 600? Is that what you gave me? Plus 600?
Yeah,
okay.
plus 600.
So let's just say an overwhelming number of bets. Let's just say 70% of the tickets are on that to, in fact, happen. You don't think Vegas will make a call or will say, all right, if a kick is close there, we're gonna make that thing appear the wind kind of faded that kick. I don't trust, man. I'm telling you, I have seen there's so much money involved in these power sports, these pro sports, even college now. When you make a bet now, it is. I'm giving you two examples. Yesterday, there were two guys on the UFC card that without a doubt, should have finished their fights. Now, one, you could argue, if you follow UFC like I do, Herb Dean is one of the worst officials. He will literally sit there and, like, he could try to raise the guy's arm and just see if the guy has a pulse and the guy's limp noodle. And he's still letting the guy waylay on a guy. Like, okay, unless you emphatically, tap out and he sees your hand, he has let some stuff go on that I'm just like, and he let it go on yesterday in one of the fights that, okay, the guy was like a minus 850 money line play. Yeah. Knockout artist. Into the first round. I want to say the end, fairly close. About a minute left in the first round. 5-minute round. He's got the guy on the ropes and he's kneeing him in the chest, and the guy's not fighting back, and he's literally just hitting him without much defense. No fight back. So that should have ended right then and there. But I'm telling you, when you see this stuff and you see and then you find out that was the number one most wagered prop on all the major books yesterday. That and Kimrat, I think Kimrat, one of the fighters to win his fight via decision, and he won by unanimous decision. I played that. That was pretty easy money. But when they're the most bet, believe me, you do not want to be like the most bet prop. You do not want to be on that side. I don't trust it. There's too much shadiness involved with this because there's so much money. I still believe a lot of these NBA players, I don't think there's just too much going on, and you see it. Now, yeah, sure, we're involved in, could be cold flu season. A guy could be drained. He's out there playing, But I mean, hell, I've seen guys running up and down the floor, and I'm just like, this guy's out there just running around like getting light cardio. He's not even like, he has zero interest in going and getting the ball. And I've seen it with guys like Kevin Durant, who can score at will. It is mind blowing, some of the stuff that you see, and when you're more invested because you're betting and you're putting your hard-earned money on it, then you kind of see it and you're like, yeah, maybe I'll stay away from him or stay away from this guy. That's why NBA, say what you want, they're very talented, but there are so many guys that take nights off. It is a hard product to bet.
It's impossible.
Yeah,
I think it's
really tough, especially if you're playing a 2 or 3 leg parlay, which are the odds are against you anyways. But I am telling you, man, I have seen guys that literally say, they'll go in and they'll say, if I'm playing that, I'm playing underplays on a lot of this stuff because these guys take so many nights. They take a quarter off. They're just out there running, and I'm just like, how? I mean, I understand guys are more athletic. They're stronger, more physical. it wears on you, but and I'm not even against the load management and all that. But it's really, when you're talking about betting money, it's very risky. Though I love it. I don't bet a lot of money, but I do enjoy it.
I think NBA is probably more difficult to predict as far as betting goes than even the MLB. And the MLB is just like it's outrageous too.
Well,
but
yes.
And I mean, you also have to take into consideration it literally has the history of gambling too.
Now the one thing I will say with the MLB, and I'm looking forward to it, is I do love an angle I was pretty good at. I hope that trend continues, but first 5, first 3, not money lines, but unders and overs. Mm-hmm. The reason I love a first 5 is even if a pitcher gets through the entire lineup one time, the second time through, there's a lot of data there. And a lot of times these guys, when they see them, even a 1, 2, or 3 hitter who gets to see him in situations and see his stuff, see his tendencies. Oh, he's going to come back if he misses, if he goes, 1-0 on the first pitch, he's coming back with, this is his reliable pitch here, maybe a 2-seamer. So I have a decent barrel rate opportunity swinging the lumber on that second pitch. So data suggests, but that's why I look, I'll take betting over betting Major League Baseball over NBA any day of the week. Yeah. I've loved that, and I like some of the NFL stuff. But you do see a lot of sketchiness, and boxing for years had it. Now you're seeing it with UFC. Dana White just turns his head. Last week's card, which was out of the country, and you're letting fighters from that from that country they were fighting in, and the judges there, and I'm like, check their bank accounts. Some of the judging was horrendous, and you had national columnists, guys that are well respected, going, really, wow, that was really a head scratching moment there. Like, how do you not, when you see the final scorecards? So just be careful with your money. We tell you, hey, look, bet heavy on the picks we give you with full confidence. No, no, I'm just joking. But
throw your 401ks in there.
Yeah. So let's get our final break. Then we'll come back. I'll give you some official picks, some plays that I really like. More Neutral Zone presented by Fleet Tire, 111 East Woodland Avenue. Coming up, one final segment here on Super Bowl Sunday. Come on back on Fan Run Radio.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess. But isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah. They specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
What's up, Fan Run Nation? This is Evan Rogers with ECR Total Landscapes. We're excited to continue our free stump grinding promotion with Fan Run Radio this year through March 31st. If you've got problem trees in your yard, give us a call and we'll come out and cut them down and grind the stumps for free when you mention you heard us right here on Family Radio. Take it from Russ. We'll treat you right at ECR Total Landscapes.
That's right, Evan. I had the ECR team out to Stately Smith Manor last year, and they took down a bunch of trees for me and grinded the stumps for free. Now I don't have to worry about those trees falling on my house, and my yard looks much better. Do what I did. Call ECR Total Landscapes.
Thanks, Russ. Call us today and we'll come out and give you a free estimate. Our number is 865-384-2012, and our website is ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Are you ready to show off that confident, radiant smile you've always dreamed of? Well, here at Knoxville Smiles, we're ready to turn your dream into a reality. At Knoxville Smiles, we're more than just a dental practice. We're your partners in achieving optimum oral health. From routine cleanings and checkups to advanced cosmetics and restorative procedures, we offer a wide range of services in an environment that makes every visit a positive and comfortable experience. At Knoxville Smiles, it's about more than just treatments. We're focused on creating a welcoming environment where you feel like family. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed with your comfort in mind, and our friendly staff is always ready to address your questions and concerns. Don't wait any longer to achieve a beautiful smile you deserve. Schedule your appointment at Knoxville Smiles today and take that first step towards a healthier, happier you. Call us at 865-539-1776 to book your appointment today, or just visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Your tax refund belongs to you, not an identity thief. Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft last year. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. They monitor and alert you to identity threats you'd miss on your own, even if you're careful with your personal information. And if you do become a victim of tax-related identity fraud, LifeLock has U.S.-based restoration specialists ready to help solve your identity theft issue. Plus, all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Let LifeLock help protect your financial info, so all you have to worry about is what you do with your tax refund. Go to LifeLock.com, save up to 25% off your first year. The promo code is HERD, promo code HERD, to save up to 25% off your first year. LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
Oh, yeah. Let's get back to it here. Final segment, Super Bowl Sunday of the Neutral Zone, presented by Fleet Tire, 111 East Woodland Avenue. Drew spinning the vinyl back there, always bringing it. Drew, the time has arrived. We're going to give some picks here. Final picks here. I'll go ahead and lead off. I'm with you on that. I'm going to allow you to, that be your official play there on that 50-yarder. I think that's plus money. I'm all about it. Mm-hmm. I am definitely on DraftKings under the special teams tab. Again, official plays right here. I'll take the over for Jason Myers, total yards of all of his field goals combined. I expect at least 2. Vegas seems to think so. Juiced heavily, minus 210 the last I saw for 2 made field goals. Jason Myers, kicker for the Seahawks. I'm going to take the over 66.5 yards. That's an official play for me. I am also going to go, though it is juiced, I'm going to take Kenneth Walker. Let me go back to it here. Go ahead and throw out one that you like there, and I'll go back to mine here.
Yeah, so quick 2 ones that you could be able to do is, will both teams make a 33-yard or longer field goal? I selected yes at -130. Nothing too wild, $5 wager, $9 in return. And the other one, obviously, that we kind of mentioned earlier in the show, Jason Myers hit a 50-plus yard field goal at +200. Throw $5 at that. A little small $15 in return.
Nice. Nice.
But this is probably, I love decent leg parlay. You know me, Cloney. But now this one, the odds of this hitting are probably slim. But the odds were just way too good for me to not just to throw a couple bucks at it and just see what happens. But
okay,
Travion Henderson, anytime touchdown. Drake May throwing 160-plus passing yards. Sam Darnold throwing 170 passing yards. Cooper Kupp, anytime touchdown. Jackson Smith-Njigba, anytime TD. Stephon Diggs, anytime touchdown.
Spicy! We're getting spicy in here, man. I love it.
$2 wager, $418 in return.
Wow, man. You are absolutely cooking back there. Yeah, so here's another official play. I love it, though. I do love that. I like Cooper Kupp over 31.5 receiving yards. I do like that. I believe that's at -125. And I'm going to go back in and look at these, just see if any of these have changed. Receptions. Let me go down to receptions. I am going to go. Wow, it has went up. You were able to get, okay, let me go to alternate. Ramondre Stevenson. Again, I led off the show and told you that the Seahawks, excuse me, had a brain freeze there. The Seahawks give up the most receptions, targets, and yards to opposing running backs. So here's 2 plays I'm going to give you right now that involve the same player. And if you want to go ahead and, if you want to parlay them together and make a little more bang there, this ain't going to be like the juice, the amount of squeeze that the brains of the operation here, Drew's got going here. But I will go with, let me get it here. I pulled it up. Let's see what it is together. I'm going to say Ramondre Stevenson under rushing yards, 48.5. Under 48.5.
Okay.
But I'm going to take his 3 receptions. So let's give you this here. Ramondre Stevenson, 3 receptions. Again, if you're just taking that thing earlier was -165. It was still heavily juiced to get 3+ receptions on FanDuel. It's now 3+ is -198. Now, if we're going to take that and you wanted to do just a little 2-leg parlay there, and then again, if you take his rushing yards under 48.5, all of a sudden you're getting +164 there. I think it's a through the air. I think it's screens. I think Game Script would want you to believe more than likely that New England is trailing. I think dump offs, could be an opportunity there. But again, that's an official play for me. I like both, though I would never recommend an official play of 3+ receptions for -198. So that's why I would put the 2 together. But I do like the official play, Ramondre Stevenson under 48.5 rushing yards. If you want to parlay those 2 together and get +164, I'm all for it. What else you got, Drew?
How would you feel for receptions over under Ramondre Stevenson over 3.5 for +131?
I would definitely ladder him up to 4 receptions.
And
yeah,
here's the other one that has me a little bit intrigued that DraftKings has. Travion Henderson over under 0.5 of a reception at -208. I feel like I think he's going to get a pass.
Oh, I think so too.
I think he's going to.
There'll absolutely be a target.
Yeah.
Does the reception? Does everything? Is it a throwaway or deflected ball? But I think every planet imaginable, you can foresee him getting a ball thrown his way, a screen. I think they're going to find a way to try to get him out on a linebacker because, and it may be a wheel route, it may be something, it may be a hook and ladder or something. I'm not a hook and ladder. It may be a catch and pitch to him. He does not get credit for the reception, though he does get the yardage.
Yeah.
In that scenario. So, but I think all of these set up well. Here's another angle if you really want to. Most people feel like, and let me just say this, after I was listening to one of the books, guys that talks about, basically I was listening to VSiN Sports Betting on Sirius yesterday, and they were talking about angles to look at. Vegas's perfect scenario outcome. Number one, they do not. Let me preface this. Like, Vegas does not want this to be a runaway game for Seattle.
Yeah.
They want that game staying in that 4.5. Not even just for that reason, for parlays, for people who are wanting to, parlay them up, move the line 5 points. And they want this game definitely being a 1-possession game. And the perfect scenario is if Seattle wins it by less than the 4.5. So if a Jason Myers field goal wins it, or they even kick a late field goal to go up 4, or they're trailing and Sam Darnold hits, Cooper Kupp or A.J. Barner for a touchdown to go up and win the game 24-21 or 23-20. I like the under. I'm a little snake bit on playing unders, but I feel like this game has every chance to stay under. I could see this game, being something like 23-17.
I can see that.
I really do. In fact, that is not. It's crossed my mind a couple times this morning. If you want to pick an absolute correct score, there are crazy odds on those. Drew. What else? Do you have an anytime? Again, my plays on that officially. I'm going to go with. I'm going with Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
The plus 270 on FanDuel. Anything else that you see there that you like as far in that market?
Yeah. So I also have Cooper Kupp first time TD score at plus 1,200. I feel like Kenneth Walker is like way too obvious of a choice. I just kind of steer away a little bit as far as like the anytime, like over the first time touchdown scores, just the running backs, because
right.
And just, it makes sense that you would have that, but you've seen in the playoff games, typically, a throwing TD, a passing touchdown as the first, we saw that with the Pats when they played, who was it? The Texans in theirs, and I think they had a passing touchdown also in Denver and, New England as well. And so I kind of steer away from like the running backs and those first time TD scorers. And Cooper Kupp is just a guy that has, now here's a guy going, Chris Collinsworth over here, but he's a guy that's played in this game before. He knows the magnitude of it. And he's been, he's been sneaky the last several weeks for Seattle. He's been very productive. And so I feel like if there's going to be like a wild card choice as far as first touchdown score goes, I'd pick that one for sure. And the other one, it was a little bit of a long leg, 11-leg parlay, but 20-plus rushing yards for Ramondre Stevenson, 10-plus rushing yards for Travion Henderson, 15-plus receiving yards for Hunter Henry, 40-plus for Smith-Njigba, 15 for Diggs, Drake May, 150-plus passing yards, Seahawks money line, Kenneth Walker anytime TD, Kupp anytime TD, Hunter Henry anytime touchdown, $5 for a $200 payout.
Listen, your Drake May anytime touchdown. I don't remember what you said the odds were on that, but I could look. I could definitely see that. Are you a wager on how long the national anthem is going to be? Is it Charlie Puth? Is it?
I think it's him.
Okay.
Yeah, I've gotten screwed over too many times. I forgot who it was. Demi Lovato a couple of years ago, and she like crushed it within like under a minute. So
yeah. No, I got you. All right. Well, look, that's it on our end. Again, official plays for me, under 48.5 rushing yards for Ramondre Stevenson. I also want to play that with the same player, Ramondre Stevenson, 3+ receptions. Cooper Kupp over 31.5 receiving yards. I like a Cooper Kupp touchdown, anytime touchdown. I'm leaning towards a Drake May. You kind of, 2+ touchdowns is like 3,800. Yeah, that's a lot to ask, though. It's a lot to ask. Hey, we really appreciate it. Hopefully, next week we'll be breaking down Tennessee basketball victory. Hopefully, 2 wins this week. We need Tennessee to get back on track. And I hope you enjoy the game. Be safe if you get out on the roads, and be responsible. And we look forward to breaking it down with you next week. Big shout out. Thanks again, Fleet Tire. Thanks to Fan Run Radio. Drew, appreciate you as always. Y'all have a great week. Enjoy the Super Bowl.